Welcome back to Bruins Diehards, your source for all things Boston Bruins. And I got a treat for everybody today. The number one requested guest, Mr. Ian, Mr. Low Quality himself on a high quality podcast, is joining Bruins Diehards. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's such an ego boost to hear the number one requested guest. Like that's
By far, like this is not even a me making it up to make you feel better. You can go into my comments. You are the number one requested guest in my comments, number one requested guest in my Discord. I'm pretty sure people have asked me on X. I can't remember, but by far the number one requested guest. But the interesting part is what people don't know is we've been trying to do this for about a year. Like last year, I was like, we've got to figure out a way to do something together because I wanted to actually do something. At one point, I was like, I want to be in one of his skits just for fun.
I got to find a way to do that. I really need to find a way to somehow like take people and put them into the skits.
You'd almost have to like, it would be almost hard, right?
I fear that it would have to be AI, and I'm not doing that.
Well, no, you could do it if you could figure out a way to be like, hey, like halfway through the game, I have an idea for something. Like, say they're getting donkey punched halfway through the game, and you know it's going to be a loss. You could do it then. I think that's the only way because I would love to know how your brain works because some of your skits, it's maybe you have multiple personalities. I think that's what we're getting at by this point. I think it's safe to say some psychosis is going on sometimes.
This is some history. I have somebody in my life who has dissociative identity disorder, like legitimately has multiple people. And I got to say, I'm a far cry from that, but I do feel like the symptoms are building towards it. It's a pretty difficult thing to deal with.
And I will say, this sounds terrible, but you've turned into a little bit of a dangle that your losses are better than your wins.
Yeah, people love the tears, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't think I'll ever have the dangle energy quite like that, it gets going with him. It's a lot.
It is. He's Canadian. We have issues.
Yeah, that's true. I would argue that America might have a couple extra issues in the moment. We're not talking about that, though. We're talking about hockey.
We are. So today on the show, we're going to be talking about the recent news of Hampus Lindholm is out again. Sorry, folks. Hagen's and Zellers, I know I talked about it on the last show. Their tournament is done. The USA is out. Canada only won bronze, so there's no victory lap here for me as a Canadian. But Hagen's and Zellers, I think it's safe to say we were two of the best players in this tournament. The Bruins have won 2 in a row. And, the cup parade is back on, people. I am being extremely sarcastic when I say that, but I'm going with it. And we're going to end the show on something because everybody loves trades. We're going to talk about whether the Bruins are going to be buyers and sellers. If we have time, we'll get into second half outlook. But I think buyers versus sellers is going to be a fun conversation. As always, please leave me a like. Please leave me a subscribe. Thank you so much for all of you. My 2025 was phenomenal with everybody. My 2024, half of it, that's how much I did of the show. It was phenomenal as well. And 2026 is looking to be great as well. I truly appreciate every single one of you as the viewers. I can't do it without you, but let's get on with it and let's get into it. Let's start off with Marco Sturm has announced that Hampus Lindholm is once again out. He is not day-to-day. And what he said to the reporters is he has been dealing with something. And it's funny because I went back on bench rates to see the game card, and the numbers say that Hampus Lindholm was one of the Bruins' best players on the ice besides Fraser Minten.
Really?
Yes.
See, I would argue eye test. I know they say it doesn't exist, but I watching him, I'd be like, man, he doesn't look the same, which I think most would agree with that, right?
1,000%.
Taking the human aspect out, because initially my reaction usually is like, damn, I feel bad for the person. Like Hampus is just trying to have a damn season, and it's been a tough 2 years for him in general. Yep. But I do feel a little guilty about my hockey reaction being like, okay, that's what this whole season has been. The defense just can't stay healthy. And the results, I want to see his team make the playoffs. I've been very vocal about that. I know a lot of people are kind of talking about wanting to go the other direction. Whatever the universe puts in our lap, though, I've come very much to terms with okay, we're going to bottom out. All right, let's see what happens. It's one of those years that's such a weird retooling year that I'm not married to the idea of having to compete for the greatest prize, right this season.
So for me, I'm calling this season lowered expectations. Definitely like the SNL skit from back in the day. If I could just do a meme where it just had the lowered expectations, that is my thought for this season. If we have highs, I'm in it. Mine is as long as they're in the game, I'm okay. We
Mhm.
did have a stretch where they all went out there and pretty much took a poop in their diapers every single game. This is going to happen in a retooling team. I think Hampus Lindholm is a huge loss, and I almost my conspiracy theory hat think this is the reason he is not on the Olympic roster.
Oh, yeah?
Because it's interesting here in Toronto on 32 Thoughts, the podcast, Elliot Freeman put him up there as the biggest shocker to not make a team. Now, I know there's Bruins fans that are gonna be in the comments section. There's many that call him soft and blah, 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 blah. Soft players don't play injured, but I also don't think NHL players, it's very rare they're soft. And usually, in my experience playing hockey my whole life and being around the game and being around the NHL, none of them are soft.
Yep.
Like, there might be a couple, Austin Matthews in Toronto, but, like, just only a couple, but,
Poster boy.
I'm wondering if because he plays this Vancouver game, and I've gone back. I tried to watch after the news got announced today. I went back and looked. I can't find anything, and it sounds like Marcus Sturm made it sound like he's been playing with something for a while, and they're not
Yeah.
saying whether it's upper body or lower body.
It's hard to imagine that there weren't gonna be complications coming from last year's procedure, and
Mhm.
we saw that early in the season, and he comes back and I mean, think about I don't have the data to back this up, but obviously there's been more minor penalties from him than we were used to.
100. He's up. He's not. And it's interesting. Last year we were all in Zadorov, who has continued at his terrible pace of
Yeah.
just stupid penalty after stupid penalty. But because we're not used to it with Hampus is getting a lot of sticking penalties. It's actually like the last time I did the math, it was over 80% of his penalties are stick infractions,
Really?
meaning I think he's lost a step from the knee injury and he's compensating by hooking, slashing, and getting a stick where it shouldn't be because he doesn't have the foot speed and leg strength that he had in previous years.
I was gonna make the same argument, but for the holding calls that he keeps getting on the boards.
It's the same.
Just yeah,
Yeah.
just loves to wrap the arm around. And I know there's a veteran play there, get a little cheeky. Oh yeah, I got my arm around him for a second, but they're calling it, and they keep calling it on Hampus. So it's obviously a huge loss for the defense. Kolyachonok now is going to be a mainstay, I would say. He's
So
potentially
Henry Yukiharu will be back in the lineup, most likely. So he'll be on the left side. So your top pair is gonna be Zadorov McAvoy, who I can't believe I'm gonna say this because I was the biggest Zadorov detractor, I guess would say. I was not a big fan of him last year. I just thought he cost the team way too much. But then that's nitpicking, and in the grand scheme of things, one player is not going to cost you the game. It just isn't. There's five guys on the ice at all times, plus a
Mhm.
goaltender. Everything works together. One guy's mistake over in the neutral zone that pops in causes the goal. Like just too many things. But I do like the pairing of McAvoy and Zadorov. I think McAvoy has gotten better over the last couple games. When he first
Mhm.
came back, I think he was far too underweight. His strength wasn't there. I feel like he's gotten better and better every game. So then your next line, according to Daily Faceoff, this was updated literally as the announcement was made, and then they said that Yuki Hiro would probably slot back in. Yuki
Mhm.
Hiro on the left with Jonathan Asperot, who I think has been phenomenal.
It's been
He's
good.
had his bad games, he's had stupid penalties, but for what he's been asked to do this year,
Way
when
better
then
than
you're
expected, I think is the easiest way to say it. Way better
and
than
then your
expected.
bottom pair from hell of Mason Lohrei and Andrew Peak,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate. I think Lohrei and Peak can be serviceable. I hate them together. It is what it is. I as much as anytime I say I'm not a big fan of Peak, I get somebody coming at me and in my comments telling me he's not as bad as I say he is, but that's fine. That's just my opinion. He's on the ice for a lot of 5-on-5 goals, and that bothers me. Low he is what he is. He's just an offensive defenseman. I'm not expecting much from him. I'm expecting offense, but if I could trade him, I might. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, Laura is just one of those cases where you either love him or you don't. And right now, not a lot of people are loving him, I don't think. I find it interesting though, because so Yoki Haru, you think, or according to the Daily Faceoff, moves over to the left side. He's a right shot defenseman. So rather than trying a like on the
You're
left
on the
side,
road. Remember, you're on the road. That's why I'm thinking. That's why they're probably saying this.
Oh,
He's there, right? So he's gonna hop in the lineup.
that's
He's
right.
played the
Okay.
left and past, so that's why. Eh, the obvious choice would probably be Brunette,
So
because he's
that's
just
what I wanted to talk about. If
yeah.
you get back home and this is ongoing, do you have Brunet come up? Is Aspero still in the lineup? Like, do you have Yoki Haru on the right? You run Mac, Yoki Haru, Peak, and then on the left you have Zadorov, Lorai, Brunet. Jeez, this is getting ugly
I
quick.
know,
This
like,
is
you're not
ugly.
pulling he loves Peak, Sturm loves Peak, so he ain't coming out of the lineup.
Which
It
I've been a huge Peak defender. Like,
That's
not
fine.
a huge defender. I didn't like the trade to get him initially. I didn't think you had to give up anything for this player. I thought he was fine. And then Andrew and I argued in the offseason of who was worse, Yoki Haru or Peak. And I was like, Yoki Haru is way worse. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but you just said which is worse, poo or poo?
Right, right.
Okay.
So when I say I'm a defender of Peak, it's like a defender. He has been horrible lately,
Yes.
like unplayably bad lately. But I do agree. I think he's going to stay in the lineup. I don't think they're going to.
And Sturm loves him. Don't know
Sturm's
why.
not a big analytics guy.
He's not, and not my. You know what? As someone that's been around these arenas, most coaches just use them as. Here's my opinion. Someone's disagreeing with me. Now show me the numbers.
Yeah.
My biggest issue with Peak is I just find his foot speed is absolutely horrendous, and he gets caught. People can beat him on the outside with speed, and oddly enough, they don't do it to Lowry as much as people hate it. Andrew Peak's been on the ice for more 5-on-5 goals than Mason Lowry is, and this is just facts. So it is what it is at this point.
Yep.
The Bruins defense is their biggest source of need, and Hampus Lindholm, whether you like him or not, is a huge loss to this back end, and it sounds like he's going to be out for a really long time. I have zero faith in Yuki Haru, but let's be honest here. When they have been down and out and big names have come into the lineup, they've sometimes pulled it off and they pulled rabbits out of their butts. So,
Well, in my mind, the reason that's happening, and I don't know how I got fooled by this so badly, because I really did go into the season being like, okay, we won't be able to score, but defense and goaltending. Why did I think our defense is going to be good? I don't know
well,
why.
we have 3 of them.
Eh.
Well, now we only have 2 of them.
Even when we have all of them, I mean, this team gives up an incredible amount of high danger chances.
Third most in the league.
Yeah. Yep. And Swayman's been excellent for the most part. Corpusalo has had highs and lows.
Yeah. You know what? I'll say this about Corpusalo. As much as they did a whole video on pretty much you should trade him. And I firmly believe you can't. So it is what it is. And DiPietro has been lighting it up in Providence. So maybe when you get back, because Sturm has zero confidence in Corpusalo, if Corpusalo doesn't start against Seattle, you've got to send him down to Providence. You can't destroy because I think they're playing Swayman too much.
Mhm.
And it's shown, even though goals saved above expected, he's 3rd in the league again after 2 games, because he's having a good year, gets named to the Olympic roster. But I'm sure at me even saying that is now produced comments in the YouTube right now of people telling me Swayman sucks, all because he said he wanted to support his family, which is still the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
That's the number one reason. It's like they think that Cam Neely cares what they think, but because he doesn't care what I think, so he surely doesn't care what other people think. But hey, what do I know? I'll say when Swayman stunk, and when they were losing, he was bad again. But he played great against Vancouver. He played phenomenal. He was one of the reasons they beat the Edmonton Oilers. You could say the score was 6-2.
Could have been 8-6 for the Oilers.
Especially that's 2 stops on McDavid, like crazy stops.
Yeah. He actually, not technically breakaways, but I think I counted 4 1-on-1s with McDavid, where there was no defenseman between him and he had a straight line to the
well,
net.
Again, our defense.
Yeah, the defense is bad. It's just flat out bad. And it's weird because the offense for a while there, the finishing was just, it's not like they possessed the puck or created all that much, but damn, could they shoot the puck? If it weren't for the red hot power play and Swayman, this team is absolutely.
And PK, I think it's safe to say the special teams and the goaltending is helpful.
For the first half or first quarter of the season, the PK was lights out. I think they're coming back though. The last couple of games they've been better for sure.
Yeah, they've been a lot better. The Bruins they take the most penalties in the league. They have Nikita Zadorov, who has the most penalties in the league. Shocker! I think it's his new crown. People talk about the Cy Young, and he's just going for the opposite of that. But I look at the Bruins. That gets us into, yes, we don't have Hampus Lindholm. There's no answer for it. Maybe there's someone in Providence, but You're not
I'd like to see
replacing.
more of Kolyachonok. I think
Okay.
I've liked him so far. It's been a very small sample size. I'd like to see him on his strong side a little more. I'm curious. Just let's leave it at curious. And they'll do that before Brunet ever gets a call. They are very married to Brunet being like a slow roast kind of
They
thing.
are very married to no one getting the call.
Valid response.
Like,
Unfortunately.
they are very married to no one from Providence getting a sniff of NHL action.
Yeah. Wait, how many games did Tufty get? 4 or 5? Merkulov had a 6
Tufty got
minute.
4 or 5 too many.
Yeah. We haven't seen Patrick Brown yet, though.
Which is interesting. Does that mean he's not a Sturm guy? Because like he's their leading scorer right now, right? So their leading scorer right now.
He's
Patrick Brown with 34 points, 12 goals, 22 assists. Merkulov 13, 14, 27. That guy got 8 minutes when he played, and he'll never see the NHL in a Boston Bruins uniform ever again.
What a waste of a call. Like, why are we even bothering? If you're going to play him on the fourth line for 6 minutes, like, let him play a little.
Damn. Fabian Lysell, at this point, when Pasternak was out, when Gunslingers were out, and he didn't get the call,
when Arvidsson was out, Arvidsson was the perfect, Arvidsson doesn't play defense either. Just put him up on the second line. Out. Yeah. But I could at least see them being like, we just want someone who's a little more responsible, even though Paster doesn't play defense either. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did check in on some things, though. I talked to a couple of people closer to the team. And it's just like, is there a mental thing happening right now? Like, is he just fighting with everybody? They're like, no, Lysell's just quietly doing his job. There's been no issues. He hasn't asked for a trade. He hasn't seemed frustrated. He's just comes in, does his job. And I'm like, what's the problem? But
it wasn't like that last year.
It wasn't. It wasn't
so
like that last year.
I think they're making him take his licks. And that's a Boston Bruin thing. Like, as much as people don't realize it, he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Mm-hmm. They definitely will trade him if they can get assets back. They're not going to give him away. They definitely talked to the Edmonton Oilers in the offseason. He has been known to have an attitude issue.
Yep.
And I think they want to say, okay, they probably said to him in the offseason, enough is enough. And they're giving him the whole year. And they're just, it's almost like they want to, when he least expect it, he'll give him a call up. But do I think he has a future in the Bruins organization? No.
Really? That bad?
Well, we'll get into the Bruins. And here's the reason why I don't. Because we'll get into the Bruins winning 2 games in a row. We'll get to that in a moment. The reason why I don't think they do is because Hagens and Zellers were phenomenal in the World Juniors. And Hagens will be coming up. Fraser Minten has cemented himself in this roster. He ain't coming out. He's a possible 2C, 3C, 2C. He's never going to be a 1C. He's not Patrice Bergeron, people. He plays great with Pasta, which is great for him. If he can be more than that, if Connor Bedard can turn Fraser Minten into more than what he is, I'm all for it. And for people understanding that reference, he's Connor Bedard's best friend. They trained together in the offseason.
Which is why Fraser Minten's so good at defense, by the way. It's because you have to stay in front of that guy when you're training.
That's a very good, valid point.
It's my belief.
So, my question to you, and I asked this to Evan. Do you think Hagens is a Providence Bruin at the end of the year and maybe Will Zellers? Or does Zellers, because he's only had 1 year in NCAA, have 1 more year?
So, Hagens gets to call up as soon as his season ends. I think that's both out of respect for him. I think the franchise is going to be like, we want this guy on, like, bought in immediately. So yes, I think he gets called up. I don't know how many games he actually sees in the NHL, but like a couple, I think he'll get. Zellers, I would put, this isn't worth anything, I would guarantee, like, no, he's getting another year in college. It would be ridiculous to bring him up now. I've watched a bunch of them this year. I still think his skating has a little ways to go. I think there's certainly things to his finishing's incredible. Like, the guy, and his puck handling way better than I expected. But I think they're going to give him 1 more year of growth. And then I know you didn't ask this, but Letourneau being a 6-game goal scoring streak now and just lighting on fire, he's still going to get another year. I get that question.
Yeah, well, I talked about this in the last show. When I was in Ottawa, I just happened to need to take a piss, and I went to the Ottawa Senators practice facility because it was right by where I was, and he was on the ice. And then I talked to a skating instructor who's there. She's awesome, and she said, "Yeah, he'll be back in university next year. He's got to work on his skating."
Yeah.
But she said he's tremendously improved.
The thing that I think the first Letourneau year was such a reminder for everyone. Like, there's such thing as too early, guys. Like, you're really pushing the pace. I think they've seen that with a couple different players. And this, in a weird way, this franchise is in a position where, like, we don't have to rush them because we're kind of trying to figure out where we're at right now.
Yeah. And if Lysell doesn't get moved for a piece, yep. Because I truly think if the Bruins aren't in, they're going to make trades. So we'll get into that later, and that will bring over more young pieces and such. And he just keeps getting knocked down.
Mm-hmm.
So I look, Hagens is number 1. Will Zellers is number 2. Letourneau has done so much more to put himself to number 3. Like, look at Don's Loschmelis. We all thought he was like the guy. You know, he's 30 games, 12 goals, 9 assists, 21 points down in Providence. He's not setting the world afire, right?
I knew this. I've been watching. I don't know if you know this. We drafted him and I was obsessed immediately. And I was like, that's a 4-year project. He is never going to be like an absolute stud top liner. When he was doing 2 points per game when his little short stint last year in the AHL, I was like, guys, this isn't who he is. Hold on. I think they love Loschmelis.
I think so too. Number 4, fourth line center.
I think he has middle 6 opportunity or ceiling. He's like Krejci light to me with his vision, his ability to like move defenses with his movements. I truly think he could be an excellent 3C.
I agree, but I look at so it's funny. For years we were like the Bruins have nothing down the middle. So now your future, and this is just right now. This is not, and I'm talking about this is in the next 3 to 4 years, people. Your future down the middle is Hagens, Fraser Minton, Dean Letourneau, and Loschmelis.
Yep, one of those guys ends up on a wing.
Yes, and I'm my guess is Letourneau, just based on speed. But that's just and the size. I think he would be a great net front presence. Like he's not going to be Ryan Getzlaf, and Getzlaf played at a different time in the NHL. I just think Fraser Minton has solidified himself in this Bruins organization. Just give him the 7th player award already. Like that's happening. The fans are going to vote him. He's going to win. But his game against Vancouver the other night was another magical game from Fraser Minton. I still think he needs to be better on his faceoffs. I'm pretty sure the Bruins have somebody that works for Nesson that can help him. His first name is Patrice. Last name is the GOAT. But he's got stuff to work on. But it's almost like, yes, they moved past to the 3rd line, and I don't really call it 3rd line anymore because they're all just like lines.
Yeah. It's the AHL recipe now because you're the 4th line. Okay, well, I got the most minutes. Like, yeah.
I'm agreeing with you. I don't think there is a thing anymore. You look at the last 2 wins, okay? So we'll get into the wins. They outscore their opponents 9-2. They get outshot in both games. Swayman, in the first game, makes 34 saves. In the second game, 31 saves. Both games, they get outshot. Swayman plays unbelievable. Like we said before, he was easily, and he was also first star in the Oilers game, 3rd star in the Vancouver game, by the way. So easily the best player for the Bruins in that Edmonton Oilers game. Pasta's playing again. A little bit worried. Geeky hasn't scored in 6 games. It scares me just a tiny tad bit, but he's still getting points. He's still getting ice time, and he did have Pasta for 3 of those games on his line. So I don't think it's that. He's just snake bitten. Like the other night when he pretty much had a wide open net and he missed. You could just see it on his face. He was just like, come on.
Yep.
And when they had that empty net, they tried to give it to him, right? They tried. Wow. So I feel bad.
People forget, if I could make one geeky point, people forget that a 30, 35 goal scorer, which is what would be, if you told me before the season, oh, Geeky's going to be 35 goals, elated, absolutely pumped, right? He gets paid 5.5 or whatever it is. If that's who he's going to be, awesome. That's still a streaky scorer. Like people like the whole DeBrusque is a streaky scorer thing. Now I know DeBrusque wasn't consistently hitting 30, 35, but he's one of those guys who like, yeah, every couple of games he's going to pop one or two. It's going to be great, but it's not going to be every night. And Geeky gets him in bunches, and then he goes cold for a bit. And there's always this criticism of these guys in Geeky's position where you're a secondary scorer, that like you're not the top dog scorer on the team or anything like that. And people want to criticize your inconsistency. It's the NHL. This consistency is a miracle to come by. Only the superstars are consistently scoring every single game.
And
6 games,
fair
obviously.
to say they're not, right?
Yeah. It's one of those things where I'm not worried about Geeky because I was kind of waiting for him to go 6, 8, 10 games where it's like, you can't seem to find the back of the net. And then all of a sudden he's going to score, I don't know, 12 of the next 9. Like, I'm not concerned until it becomes a much longer trend.
Yeah,
and I do
I'm
think
with
people
you.
need to recognize.
So, what is your take on the last 2 games?
They just reaffirm everything I felt about the team. Is we can't defend, we give up crazy high danger chances, can't stop taking penalties to save our lives. Sturm is quirky with what he likes to do during games, and Swayman's awesome. Like this team doesn't have the talent to like possess and wear down an opponent, and they have to be opportunistic. And you can win games counterpunching, great goaltending, and strong finishing. Awesome. You can win playoff series like that. It's just not a recipe that you can consistently sit there and be like, we're going to win every night.
Yeah, I think I'm with you because it drives me nuts because when Korpisalo, who I hope gets to start against Seattle, I actually do hope he gets it. Seattle
is actually want to see that.
Well, also Seattle's they're not the best.
No.
So maybe throw the guy a freaking bone here. His last start was the loss against Buffalo, and Buffalo was on a tear. They were a wagon at the time. So
it wasn't path, as they're saying.
Yes. It wasn't it wasn't an easy game. And then before that, he had to start against Ottawa. So he hasn't been thrown a freaking bone at all. No. Like the Bruins are on a Western Coast road trip. I think this is the layup game. And whether the Bruins win or not, I'm still the lowered expectations. I'm not saying I want the Bruins to not make the playoffs. I would like them to be fighting for a wild card spot with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and then the Leafs get the 6th pick overall, and it becomes the Bruins, and they pick Gavin McKenna. That's in a perfect world, just to be a dick. That's what I want.
It'd be hilarious too.
And the Bruins get 7th pick.
Yes, it truly would be so funny. But I'm with you. I don't think it's a bad thing to recognize that, like, hey, this team is very unlikely to make a deep playoff run. I want to see them be competitive because I like watching my team do well, but I can't get emotionally invested in a negative way towards the season if it's not going well, or if you have these bad games. Like, yeah, it's directly after the games, you'll see me on my channel. Like, I'll lose my mind over a play here or there for sure, or be upset about a game. But at the end of the day, you got to recognize where the team is. I would love a miracle run. I'm not going to push that away. But at the end of the day, we are aware of what the roster looks like, and it can't stay healthy. Like, that's another thing. It's not like we ever have the full squad out there. And I know everyone's banged up right now, but the Bruins are a little special, extra banged up.
Well, I think it's almost fair to say that they've been extra banged up for like a couple of years now.
Yeah.
Which is so weird. Like, there were rumors this summer that Pasternak was going to get surgery. He didn't. But
I'm worried about that.
Same. I think he gets it this summer. I think they've tried, and there's something there with his hip or something lower body. I don't know. I don't want to speculate on what part of his body it is. There's something there because he'll have spurts. Talk about a guy that, jumps in and out. He'll have spurts where he looks dead out there, and then he's rock star again. And I do find it interesting that we criticize players not as much, but a goalie can't have a second of not being the best on the ice. Like, not even a second. There's a player can have an off shift, and a goalie can't have a minute.
Yep. I mean, look at oh God, who scored that goal? It was against Edmonton. I think it was Roslovic took that wrister from the blocker side circle, and it just went in. And it was a shot where you're like, wait, how did he not stop? The way he's playing tonight, you didn't stop that one?
Exactly.
I see all of these comments like, here we go. There's the softie. Da, da, da. Like, he's stopped everyone. Like, this has been an incredible game. Yeah, it's a bad one. Whatever. And now, of course, if that game's 1-1, it's a whole different conversation.
100%. And it's not that it's not fair criticism, because as a guy that's played hockey his whole life, but sometimes you have to look in their shoes. Like, I used to take Tuukka Rask, for example. Tuukka Rask was so astute in how he played the game, and he was all about angles. He was so big into the angles, so it always looked like he wasn't trying when he made a save, but it's because he was setting himself up all the time to be exactly where he thought he needed to be.
Yep.
So when they did score, he was like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Because he didn't think there was anything there to shoot at.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting. And, people say goalies are weird, and they are. It is what it is. And for the city of Boston, no one, and I mean no one, makes fun of their goalies more than the fan base here. And don't you forget it, people. If any other team wants to make fun of our goalie, we can do it better. So don't worry about that. And if you want to make fun of Swayman, go ahead. If that's how you want a fan, I'm never going to tell people to not, because in every fan base, there's that fan that's going to be miserable no matter what happens. And when the team is playing well, you won't hear from them. So it is what it is. I get it if you don't like him. I get it if you don't like what he said. But the fact of the matter is he's played well in the last 2 games. And when he doesn't play well, this team isn't going to win.
Yeah, because the team gives up. I mean, you put most goalies in this situation, and the amount of high danger chances against, like you said, third worst in the league. It's just over and over again. You go, this guy skated right around you. He just got a breakaway for free. You didn't even hit him.
But do you know who's another team that's really high up there?
Who?
The Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah? Huh.
Exactly.
Like, they allow a lot? I would never have guessed that.
Same. So anytime I see the stat and I go on Money Puck, I'm just like, what?
Yeah. I love leaning into the analytics, but like Money Puck's expected goals numbers are so huge.
Yeah.
Like natural stat trick, and it's like half of them.
Yeah. So
That's on the model.
But all these analytics are just because I have always said, well, he has played very well this year, because I'm just like, I don't understand. But what do I know? Because it is what it is. But high danger shots against right now, Colorado's gone down. So number 1 is the New York Islanders, Winnipeg, St. Louis, Chicago, New Jersey, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Boston. And Colorado is now 19th, when like 2 weeks ago they were higher. So
changes fast then, huh?
It does change very fast. They have very fast. You got to remember, from 15th to 3rd is 10.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's a nothing burger. Like, the Bruins have 85 high danger shots against.
Yeah. I like to look at the percentages a lot with this kind of stuff.
They have the most medium danger chances against, but I don't even know what that is. I'm not going to lie to you.
I like to look at like the expected goals for and expected goals against, because those percentages over a long stretch of games make sense to me. Colorado is just crushing everyone. Like 57% expected goals.
Yeah,
that's all at 5-on-5.
They are expected to score 117 goals for.
That's nuts. Do you want Colorado to do it, by the way? Do you want them to break the regular season record for wins and points?
It's not that I want them to. I just don't care whether they do or not. The Bruins, when they broke the record, they got knocked out in the first round. So who gives a crap?
Yeah,
because it doesn't matter unless you win the Stanley Cup. So
I'm kind of vibing with the idea that they do it so that I don't have to hear about the Bruins doing it anytime anymore. I love that season, by the way. I actually,
if DeBrusk doesn't get called for a hand pass, they win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I was telling you before we got on the Flying Fluffy podcast, the Panthers podcast, talking to Eric over there, and reminiscing about that year. It was such an incredible year. Like, yes, the ending was heartbreaking and awful, but that was an awesome 6 months of hockey. Like, a lot of people were like, what a waste, or just really negative views of that year. I can be upset about the ending, but it was an incredible year.
I can't listen to the song Dancing on My Own without thinking of Patrice Bergeron walking into the dressing room singing Robin at the top of his lungs every single time. I even think like 2015 was a phenomenal year. Yes, they lose in game 5. I was at they lose in game 5 to a thing that I think was the turning of the tide. They win that game, they win the Stanley Cup. They should have won that game. The trip around the world, nothing's called. I am literally in the building. It made no sense. Every single person, the 3-month-old baby that was sitting beside me knew that that was a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
A goal scored instantly right after, which is the go-ahead goal, and it's just everything about it sucked. But that only one team gets to win the Stanley Cup every year. So I don't have a hissy fit when they don't win the cup as long as they entertain me for the year. Because to me, the Stanley Cup is still going to be the hardest trophy in professional sports to win. And I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. Boston sports fans are one of the most spoiled fan bases in all of sports for the amount of Super Bowls, World Series, NBA championships, and Stanley Cups they've won over the past 100 years. And I get it. So they expect greatness.
Mm-hmm.
They've had some of the best defensemen ever in the history of the NHL to play for their franchise in Ray Bourque and Bobby Orr. I get their expectations. But I will say this as someone that lives in the Toronto area, it could be a lot worse.
Could. It sure could. I'll confess, I still get a heartbreak every year when it ends, but I do think I'm better about just being like, okay, all right, we're gonna move on. I don't get hung up on the like particular moments too often, the controversies, because every single cup winner has a controversy on their side. Every single one. Like I can't get hung up by like the game 5 tripping. I pissed me off in the moment, don't get me wrong, but every single team has some sort of controversy. The
Heck,
stuff
in
that's
game 7, Brad Marchand, everybody blames Swayman. I mean, Tuukka, see?
Yep.
It
That line change, though, you're about to talk about, right?
unbelievably bad.
Yep. Just lazy,
And
unfocused.
I love the guy, but I would have played Backus in game 7 and not put in Carson Kuhlman. Like, I wouldn't even, not even chance Kuhlman's in that lineup in a game 7.
I totally forgot about him. Yeah.
I did not.
You know, I'll tell you what, the stuff that really sticks with me, and of course, this is like the biggest series loss, but the way the puck bounced off of McAvoy's stick with 58 seconds left of game 7 up a goal against the Panthers to go top corner on Swayman to force overtime. I'm just sitting there like, what are you supposed to do about that?
Dude, that is like the Seinfeld, back into the left with the spit.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't even make any sense how that happens.
Yeah. And those are those things where you're just like, those are the plays where you're just the what ifs that just drive me nuts. That one will keep you up at night. That one probably kept Swayman up at night for a little while.
So if we both are at the either squeak in or they don't make the playoffs,
mm-hmm.
Are they buyers or sellers? Because here in Toronto, they continue to talk, all the sports radios. Like, I understand for you Boston fans, you have sports radio, and when Ty's on, he's great. But I can promise you, the hockey talk is it's tough sometimes when I'm in Boston and I have to listen to it.
Terrible. It's just flat out bad. Ty's great. Everything else is bad.
It's really bad. So I get to hear a lot of great hockey conversations, and they've already started talking trades because they think a lot of teams are going to do some before the Olympic break. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to do the remainder of them at the end of the season just because of the way the cap is. So if you're the Boston Bruins, what's your biggest need? And are you a buyer or are you a seller?
You are a seller, and it would be malpractice to be a true buyer this year for 2 reasons. One, there is no trade you make that wins you the cup this year. You're only a true buyer if you're like, we have a chance to win the cup. 2 pieces don't change that. Also, there are very few sellers, which means the prices are very high. You're not doing that. The Bruins should be at the forefront of moving off of a guy like Victor Arvidsson, who's in the last year of his contract, who's been very good this year offensively, has had some really nice moments. You're going to look and see if Casey Middlestat has some offers, because I don't think he's really a long-term fit here. He has 1 more year after this.
Especially with how Hagen's played in the World Juniors.
Absolutely. Pavel Zacha, same. Like you're listening, although I'm more of a probably keep him. His utility usage is crazy. Like you can use him in any situation.
And his contract's not big.
Yeah, his contract's easy. But yeah, you should be a seller, 100% a seller. If you could find a young defenseman where you're moving off of Middlestat, somebody fell in love somehow, which you would adore.
Which, you know what? He's played well enough that someone might have fallen in love with him, but his
Premium
contract stinks.
position.
But the cap going up to what it is. So what is
Yeah.
it? Keep going. I'll get his.
Well, no, he's at 5.75, and he only has next
before
year.
me.
Oh yeah, I love Puckpedia. I used to love Cap Friendly. No, so he's at 5.75 through next season,
and you have to trade him this year.
Yeah, that's exactly the deal.
Because he's got a modified no trade next year. 19.
Oh, does he?
Yes.
See that. Oh yeah, and nothing on this year. Interesting. I didn't even look at that. So yeah, you if you have somebody who's like, I've got this 21-year-old defenseman who's locked out. Like, I've got my defense is taken care of. Like,
which those exist.
For. Yes, they're around. They're probably not right-handed, but
Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah, the Red Wings. I believe that Dallas has a little bit of a logjam still happening. Even though I guess that's where Kolyachonok come from. But either way, I'm looking for that. I'm looking for young defensemen, but I will take someone in any position that I think is helpful for the long term. The only thing I'm not looking for is a fourth line player, but who's traded for fourth liners intentionally anyway?
So yeah, they got. Detroit's right side is Mort Seider. Jesus. Sandine Pellikka. Oh my God. And Simon Edvinsson. Jesus.
Who's also unbelievable.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes, but he's also a 22-year-old that is going to get a huge raise this summer.
Yep.
That guy's going to get.
Seider's locked
funny.
in
People
for a while,
complain about like the salaries we have, but Edvinsson is going to command like $6 to $7 million a year next year.
Yep.
And Moit Seider's at 8.5. Well done.
What a steal.
Oh my God. Till 29-30. I think I'm agreeing. I think the Bruins are sellers. I think if I would love to keep Zaka, but, and here's my but, given what they got for Charlie Coyle last year, who arguably was a steal, and I'll still to this day, I hope people realize Will Zellers was the piece, Casey Middlestat was the throw-in. You have teams like Tampa, Montreal, Detroit, who look to be locks to make the playoffs. Carolina, New York Islanders, New York Islanders is a team to look at to want to make some moves.
Schaefer's a friggin' animal.
He's a stud. And if Devontae's is out, he'll be on Team Canada.
Yeah.
And congratulations, by the way. Congratulations to Jeremy Swayman, Henry Yukihiru, Charlie McAvoy, we already knew. David Pastrnak, we already knew. Some people acted like they didn't know, and I was like, well, he was named a while ago. They all made their respective countries, and Hampus Lindholm didn't. Elias Lindholm did as well. Congratulations to those guys. A fourth line center on Team Sweden is perfect.
Yeah, he's
I don't dunk on. Here's my thing with Elias Lindholm. He didn't choose his contract. He didn't come to the team and say he's the next Bergeron. We all did that.
Yeah, no, I'm mad at Sweeney about the Elias deal. Not mad at Elias, but I also I hate watching the guy play. I don't think he's an impact player. I know that he's like third on the team in points. He's like 13th in 5-on-5 points. The guy has made our power play better. That's all I've got for him. I don't enjoy.
You just don't like him, which is fine. See, now you're admitting you're biased. You just don't like him, which is fine. I think
I don't like watching him either. Like, I do not like his game.
Well, if you think about it right now, Fraser Minton is your first line center, because he's got passed down his wing.
Yeah.
I don't think Hagen's is a first line center next year, but if you're gonna do this, like whatever position you are is not, there's no 1, 2, 3, 4 the lines. Lindholm was fine. If Lindholm is your third C of the future, I think you're laughing.
So this is what's really funny is when that deal gets signed, the correct response is, "Oh, that's our new Charlie Coyle, an overpaid 3C." Yeah, that's fine. Like, that's what it actually is. To your point, relying on him as a 1C it's just foolish for everybody involved. You're getting mad at the wrong situation.
Yes.
Elias is, and Coyle was 5.2 for a few years there, and he was truly just a 3C. Just an overpaid 3C, fine. Like, we can live with that. We've seen it. It's fine. But I hate watching Elias with guys like Pastrnak on his wing, with guys like Geeky on his wing, who create these opportunities for themselves, and I think Elias actively detracts from that. I genuinely do. I think he is not in any way an impactful top 6 player.
It's fine. Like I said, I think he's very good on the power play. He's very good on the PK. So
He has
for
made our
me,
power play better. For sure.
I find he's just fine. I don't dislike him. I don't love him, but he is not a reason for a loss. He doesn't hurt me when he's on the ice. So for me, I just move on. But we focus so much on him. It's just like Mason Lowry, where I'm like, he is what he is, people. Just like move on. I get more focused on looking at the defensive gaps and looking at some of the things people do that are just bonehead. Like as much as you like Victor Arvidsson, some of his pizzas that he throws up the middle, it frustrates the living daylights out of me.
I have been impressed by Victor Arvidsson in the sense of I thought he'd be worse than this.
Fair.
It's another piece that I'm so glad to move off of.
Fair. But I look at a guy like Pavel Zacha, and for me, I think you can get a haul for him.
Yeah.
I think a team will give you a first and a high value prospect. I think you can recreate the Coyle trade and you could get that. And hopefully you can get a right shot D. Hey, in a perfect world, the Bruins get second overall and they can just take Keegan Verhoff, and we'll all be laughing. We'll all be laughing in Bruins land, and he's our future right shot defenseman. Like the kid's a stud.
Yeah.
Okay. Play for Team Canada. Yes, Team Canada won a bronze, but kid's a stud. He's only one player on a whole team. Kid is very good.
Really talking a bunch of shit about these young players and prospects and all of this stuff, and you're like, God, it's a bunch of 18-year-olds.
Seriously, they haven't even played a game yet.
Yeah. Also playing against the best 18-year-olds on the planet, and all of them are like, oh, this is a leap. Every single one of them has to deal with a leap at the same time. It makes sense to me that it kind of evened out a little bit there, especially as the game is modernized and it's become so much more accessible by other countries and things like that. Like Canada
100%.
can't dominate the same way.
Kudos to Czechia. Kudos to Sweden. It's happening right now as we're talking. I don't even know who's winning. I'm not gonna lie. As a Canadian, we throw our bronze medal in the trash and we move on.
Yeah,
it's just, it is what it is.
I get that. I do want to. Oh, sorry. You go ahead.
No. Go.
Well, the Coyle trade replicating that, I like that idea, but so you're right. Zellers was what they wanted.
Correct.
Middlestat you had to take back because they were trying to move off of him, and then the pick was whatever.
Yeah.
We had no idea, and neither did Colorado. Like Zellers looks way better than anybody expected.
But in fairness to Dominic Tiano, he was like banging the drum as soon as it happened.
Yes, he's so good, by the way. He's so freaking Dom Tiano. To anyone who doesn't know, look him up on Twitter. He does the weekly prospect updates. It's awesome. The guy's really tuned in. I did remember. Yeah, I did forget that he was in on that right away. But as far as I remember, for the most part, both the teams were kind of like, oh, Zellers is like a B-level prospect, and now he looks like an A-level prospect. So if you can identify that again, it's a huge get.
But you could look at a team because what's going to happen, the reason why you got a guy like Zellers is because you did take salary back. So if we go on Puckpedia here, I go look at the big guns. So you got Dallas, who would have to move off salary. So is there anybody you'd want to look at somebody, not Jason Robinson, people, because that's not what they're doing. That's not the trade they're going to get here. And they can't do Matt Duchene. He's got a no move clause. They would have to take something back. And it's this, what you want to see, you want to hear something crazy? They would have to take Tyler Seguin back.
Oh, no.
Well, he's a LTIR.
Last year, right?
He's never going to play. He's got 2 years left. He's never playing 2 years.
Yeah. Wow. That would be a very
I'm just saying that's the type of player you have to take back, right?
Yeah.
Because then you get that pick or that player that you really wanted. Because any team that's going to use Zacha, they're going to think he's their 2C or top 6 player that comes in and can play PK and he's serviceable to them and it puts them over the edge. So they're going to overpay to get him.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to have to take salary back to do it because every team is tight to the cap.
But because he's got such a great deal, would you be against eating $2 million for the next 2 years? You just retain 50%,
and I'm getting a first and a top
yeah,
8
you're
prospect.
Getting whatever you want.
Then I'd have zero issue with it.
Yeah, here's a second line player for $2 million a year for this year next. Yeah. I think that's what I want to do with Middlestat. Really, is I would, if somebody is like, oh, he's back.
I think
But
he's the harder of the two to move.
I totally agree with that. Totally agree. It's why I want to move him.
I get it. He's a UFA in 27, 28. I haven't been like, oh, he's terrible. I've been more
No.
like, huh, he's been a lot better than I thought.
And that's actually been for the large majority of the team. I've kind of sat here and been like, huh, if you're not like Yoki Haru and Peak and Lorai, unfortunately, I kind of expected some more strides forward from.
Yeah, low right too, and he hasn't done it this year. He
Yeah,
hasn't made
those
a jump.
guys I've been bummed about, but Swayman's been better than I expected after what last year was. And then basically Kaslick's been a freaking god. This guy is going to be. You mentioned the 7th player award for Minton. I think Kaslick has a real grab at that as well. He's been
Also, people, you know what? Don't give it
fantastic.
to Minton. Stop bigging the guy up and start acting like he sucks because his contract's up at the end of 26, 27, and people are going to hate him when he asks for like 7 to 8 million a year.
Yeah, he's got to get his points up, but I'm with
No,
you
I
on
don't
that.
think he does though. The way the NHL contracts are going,
Oh shit, you're good. Good point. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Steve's is a UFA at the end of the year, so he's going to want 4 to 5 million.
No way,
Dude.
I
That's what you get 4 to 5 million for 15 goals now. That's what you get.
I think Steve's is still being viewed as a bottom 6 guy.
I hope so. I think
Despite.
he's a Swiss Army knife. You can pop him in the lineup. Marco Sturm really likes him.
I like him. Easy to root for. Easy guy to root for.
Him and Husadinov are really easy to root for.
Yeah.
I think Easymont, I really liked him at the beginning of the year, and I could do without him now.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. He is what he is. I'd rather have Corrali, and I'd rather have Tanner Jeannot.
Speaking of guys that better than I expected, Corrali, I watched him in Columbus. Foot speed gone. Just can't. I mean, couldn't play the game anymore. And he's been really great on the penalty kill.
Yes.
And then obviously played a good 4th line role. Jeannot, I could do without. He's got a no trade clause for the next 2 years, but I don't.
He doesn't hurt me though. At 3.4 million, I don't care.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's fine.
Yeah, he's fine.
So for me, the guys that you look to move, Middlestat, Zaka, Arvidsson. I think Arvidsson can net you a 2nd round pick.
You have to move Arvidsson, right? You have
no, 100%. He's gone, and that's when Lysell gets a chance.
Boom! There it is.
It's the easy play.
If I'm Lysell and I see the news that he got traded, I have my phone in my hands like this, just waiting for the call.
Because he's going to get moved for a pick and nothing else.
Yeah.
He's moving for a pick.
Yeah.
They're not getting a player back, and if they do, then that's
a second would be glorious. A second would be really.
And then on the back end, as much as people are probably yelling, "Oh, Hampus Lindholm," I even have someone that comes in my all the time says trade Charlie McAvoy, which is it's a thing. There's way too many guys with no moves, no trades. You try and move Yuki Haru, no one's going to take him. The only thing they've got on the back end, this is going to be hilarious that they can get something for, is Peak, because Mason Lohrei is a piece in a trade, not the trade. But I think a team will take Andrew Peak to be their 7th defenseman in the playoffs, easily.
Which is hilarious. But we've seen that move every single year.
2nd round pick
really bad. You think
second
I
or
would
third.
be so pumped. A third,
second or
I'd be
third.
pumped for. What did we give up to get him? A third, I think.
I'd have to pull it up.
It feels I can't remember, but I just remember being like, you had to give up something for this guy. No, I will say
Zaboral at a third.
Zaboral was also in that. My God, what a dumb
what
trade.
A nightmare draft.
Yeah, we don't need to rehash that. I will say Jordan Harris looked good enough, and he hasn't been able to play.
Did he though?
I thought he did. It was a very small sample size.
It's extremely small. So how about this? As I always say, why don't we all just not overhype the guy that's from Mass and just give it a minute and give him 10 games before we say that he looked good.
So here's my reasoning. Because if I'm at the deadline and I'm like, did anyone watch a couple of games he played? Someone want to buy in on that?
That's what we're talking about now.
Anybody
watch the 5 games he played?
I torched Harris before he got to Boston. I just torched him. He was awful. In every game I saw him play, I was like, this guy sucks. Preseason, he was good. He was legitimately good in the preseason, but that's a preseason. I liked what he was doing for the first couple of games. The first couple of games were also the 3 games I was able to watch, and then I was out of town for almost the entirety of that 6-game losing streak. So, like, I didn't even see him go down with the injury, I don't think, right? Because I think he what was it? Game 4 or 5? Did you say that?
Yeah, wasn't it? Was it against Montreal? I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
He had 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points.
I liked him defensively. I wasn't really
Sure.
worried about.
You know what? The internet thought he was the next coming of Jesus. So,
They did that with everybody.
like, I couldn't believe it. The amount of people were like, Jordan Harris has got to stay in that lineup. I'm like, it's been 5 games, people. He is a defenseman.
I would take him over Peak right now.
I wouldn't.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now we're getting into it.
I have a hard time on 5 games. I have a hard time saying that guy has got to be in the lineup.
Well, I'm not saying we're taking Peak out and putting a bullet through his head. I was just saying, put him in for a couple of games and see what happens. Obviously, he's still injured, though. This is kind of
I just don't know who's going to, at this point. I don't think he's a piece that you can move. I think Andrew Peak is, and I think in a bigger trade, say you're able to find a team that really wants Zaka, but you really want a grade A prospect from them. You might have to give up Mason Lohrei. And I'm okay with that at this point. Because you have to I'm more okay with that, so I don't have to hear about it anymore. Because as a content creator, sometimes I sour on a player because I'm tired of hearing about it.
Yeah.
When I think he's not that big of a deal and because we get so focused on bottom 6 players, which is hilarious when you really think about the grand scheme of things. These are bottom 6 players. They play the least amount of time than anybody else on the ice, and we're acting like they're making such a huge difference out there.
We all need our emotional support 4th liner. You know this.
Well, especially in Boston. So yes, I get that. But for me, move them just so I don't have to hear about it anymore. Just like last year, I was calling to trade Swayman because I was just tired of hearing people complain.
Yeah. So who are your untouchables?
David. Well,
untouchables meaning like unless I'm blown away by the deal. I hate when people are like,
well, okay, so
like literally would never trade them in.
Let's exclude the guys that have no moves, no trades. Okay, sure. So Pasternak, Lindholm. What does Victor Arvidsson have? Cannot be traded, sent to the Myers, or waived without player approval. Are you effing kidding me?
The Oilers signed him to. I had no idea about that.
Well, the
Oilers are so bad at what they do.
He'll waive to go to the playoffs.
He's gonna.
Let's just say they have a deal in the back end, and then you can't trade McAvoy, Lindholm, and that's it. It's okay. So besides those guys, my untouchables are Geeky, Minton, Kastelik. You know what? Nope, he's not an untouchable. Minton, Geeky. But I'm one of those guys that'll trade almost anybody. Geeky, Minton, Nikita Zadorov, and Jeremy Swayman.
Well, you already ruled them out.
Swayman doesn't have a no trade till next year,
but Zadorov does.
Well, he has a modified no trade.
I think this first
he has a no trade clause, but he can be traded with approval.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So this year, he would have to approve it, and then it turns into like a full.
But for me,
modified. Yeah.
If the trade makes you better, you make the deal. So if, say, the Dallas Stars said, "Hey, we want to get off Jason Robinson because we're idiots, but we want Morgan Geeky. As much as I love Geeky, you trade for Jason Robinson."
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like I'll still move him, but so no one is really untouchable.
No, I do think your answer is objectively correct of Geeky and Fraser Minton. Those are two where you're like, unless, of course, I'm blown away, which is why I hate these conversations, is because you say untouchable and people just assume you mean I would never. Those are two guys like Geeky has an incredible shot. And yes, his shooting percentage has been absurd. But at $5.5 million, this guy's going to have value through the length of the contract. As soon as that was signed, it was like, oh, what a relief. It wasn't an $8 million deal. Minton is you just don't know where he could end up. He could actually be a 2C. Do I think he's going to be a 2C? Not really. But if he could be I am an excellent 3C, I try to put it like this. Would they play that position on a cup winning team? And I think Fraser Minton has the potential to be a 3C on a cup winning team.
Fair.
That's a guy I don't want to move off of. Especially, I mean, he's 21. You just don't know where that's going to go. I am not married to Lohrei. I don't know if I was ever truly married, but I was certainly more defensive than I am now. And then, your prospects, you're keeping Hagens.
Yeah, you keep Zellers. And I think
Matthew
you're keeping
Zellers.
Letourneau now because his value's gone up. But
Yep.
you'd move him if you're getting like a guy that I really wanted last year. But when they traded him, Colorado traded him, I was hoping he was the guy coming back instead of Zellers, was Callum Ritchie. I
Yeah.
really like that kid. But the
Yep.
Islanders got him. Kudos to you, Matthew Darsh. Well done. Well done. Well done.
Yeah. No, I think there's definitely a in my problem for your problem trade out there too with the Lysell stuff. Who knows? We'll immediately think that the prospect we're getting is incredible and just assume it. No, when we got a case study of this with the Beecher wave, which I thought was hilarious because so we wave Beecher, Calgary, the first team in line grabs him, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, first round, athletic, just needed a new change of scenery." I'm like going into the Reddits for Calgary and all this stuff. And I'm sitting there going, they'll figure it out. It'll be fine. They'll find out pretty soon. And then Kolyachonok goes on waivers and we grab him, which I was excited about. Don't get me wrong. But I was also like, guys, there's a reason he was on waivers. Like, you don't just...
Not everybody's Forsling.
Yes. Not everyone's Forsling. I think Forsling might be the only Forsling in my memory, at least recently. And I just saw... What I did like about it, though, is when Beecher
Brandon
gets
Bussey's
waived,
another one. Ooh, sorry, I had to say it, but continue.
Yeah, Bussey too. Although Bussey behind this defense is not Bussey behind Carolina's defense,
Yes.
I would argue. But no, I think one of the biggest things is, Andrew and I talked about this on the short shift too, is when we waived Beecher and saw he got claimed, all the Bruins fans were like, have fun. Good luck with him. We hope he does better for you. When Kolyachonok gets picked up, most of the Dallas fans are pissed. So I was like, okay, that's a better sign, right? Like, I'd prefer that.
But we always overvalue guys that are...
Always.
Always.
It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun.
Yes.
Until it's not, I guess.
But speaking of fun, I have had a blast.
It's already been an hour.
Yeah, exactly. I have had a blast. I really appreciate it. Because if you don't know, Ian's got another little podcast to do called The Short Shift that you guys could check out. As always, please leave me a like, leave me a subscribe. Ian, where can they find you? I will be leaving a link to everything Ian does, even though half the people here are going to be coming over from his channel in the first place, but still.
Well, you can find me on YouTube, Low Quality Bruins fan. And then, of course, on Twitter at Bruins Low is my username. And then the Short Shift Pod, which we'll be recording later tonight. That's myself, Andrew, and Thomas. It is far more PG-13 than what Court puts together. He's a very appropriate family man. We talk about, well, other things. So we'll just leave it at that. But Court, thank you so much for having me on, man. I'm so glad we got to do this, and I'd love to do it again soon.
Thanks.